Real Talk the podcast. We just keeping it real. Inspirational, motivation. It's something that you can feel. Authentic, I know you can tell. Hosted by Kimberly Sherrill. We got food for thought. Come help yourself. One of a kind like nobody else. Yeah, wanna see you mentally grow in a major way. Play this back like day to day. See all that stress and doubt, just watch it fade away. There is nothing you cannot achieve. Good vibes, yeah, we got that. Kimberly, go ahead and talk to him. It's the Real Talk podcast. Let's go.
Well, hello, beautiful listeners. Thank you for tuning in to this episode of Real Talk Podcast. I'm your host, Kimberly Sherrill. I just want to say thank you for tuning in to this episode. You could have been anywhere else, but you decided to be here with me, and that just makes me so happy, and I'm so appreciative of you. So let's get right to it. Today, I have with me in the guest chair none other than Miss Eulica Kimber. Hi, Eulica.
Hi. Hello, everybody. How are you?
Oh my God. I'm so excited to talk to you. I have been cyber stalking this lady for almost 2 years, people. I'm not going to say it with any type of shame, because if you do not know Eulica Kimber, you better Google her. Okay. Results pop up. Get on it. You know, that's like the new street cred now, being Googleable. Mm-hmm. I don't know if that's a word. We're going to use it just like it is.
I think it is a word. I think it is. Googleable. Yeah.
Yeah, 100%. All right. So, Eulica, tell the beautiful listeners a little bit about you.
So I'm Eulica Kimber, and I'm a CPA, MBA, and I do business growth coaching. Primarily, I help African-American women build their businesses. There are a lot of people who call themselves business coaches, which is nice. That's a blessing. But I've actually focused on results-driven actions. So we actually look at numbers. We look at sales. We build sales plans. And we actually teach entrepreneurs how to be real business owners, how to speak the language of business. So that's basically what I do. I do other things, but we can talk about that later.
I mean, you came out the gate, guns blazing. She's like, I know that other people call themselves a business coach. I got a CPA and an MBA, and I'm like, look, you better say it, Eulica.
Well, let me say this. So I'm not discrediting anyone who calls themselves a business coach. There are a lot of types of coaches, but to me, it needs to be tangible results, and you should have some business savvy when you come on out of the other side. So if you learn how to do a launch or learn how to do XYZ, but you spending as much as you're making, it just doesn't make sense. It's not sustainable. It's not something you can scale. That's the kind of stuff I was talking about. So no shade. But I guess when you say no shade, you kind of being shady. No shade.
Listen, you said scaling the walls, and all I'm thinking about are people scaling. We ain't gonna talk about them barricades. No. Okay. So, Eulica, you grew up in Petersburg, Virginia?
I grew up in Petersburg, Virginia. It's in central Virginia. It's south of Richmond, which is the capital, 2 hours south of Washington, D.C. It's a very small community, probably less than 40,000 people. It's a economically disadvantaged community. It sits right next to a military base, Fort Lee. But the community is the school system, when I was there and even in the years subsequent, is one of the lowest performing districts in the Commonwealth of Virginia. High teenage pregnancy rate, drug addiction, that kind of thing. But there were a lot of good things that came out of it, a lot of good people. But the stigma kind of rests upon those who come from that community. Some of my friends I went to high school with never made it out of high school. I came out of high school in 1988. And if you don't know about that period of time, that's when we had a new drug on the scene called Cook 'em Up. Do you know what Cook 'em Up is?
I have not heard of that one, but I'm
familiar with cocaine. Cook 'em, because you have to cook the cocaine. I'm just.
Oh, okay.
So I remember distinctly in high school, my cousin said, "I'm going over my friend's house to try some Cook 'em Up." I never forget that. And we didn't. But this is before we knew that how addictive it was. We didn't know, and she has never been the same.
Wow.
We're in our 50s now. Well, I'm 50 years old. She might be 49 or so.
Wow. That's
So
like,
that's kind of where I came from. And so there were, and it's because it's a small community, it's only one high school. So it was an intersection of people who had, two parent households. Some people's parents were military. Then there were also people whose parents were in jail. So it was a great cross section of Black people. And so I learned, I don't know why in that place, I learned that Black looked different in many different ways, and that everybody didn't live the same. Some people had money, some people went on vacation, some people. I learned that there was differences, and yeah, that's where I'm from. So it's not like I'm a gangster or nothing. But I'm not from a big city, but I am from a city. I don't do the country very well.
listen, if you had one high school, honey, that was country. It was just another form of it. I am from a town that has one of everything. One elementary, one primary, one high school, one middle school, and they're literally all
Now we
within
did
one little
have
block.
7 elementaries that fed into one big for a high school. So I just wanted to put that out there.
No, Eulica, no, we're from the same town. But it's so funny because as soon as you said 1988, okay, so I got to tell this real quick. I have a cousin who's 10 years older than me, and he, for the most part, he's like my favorite cousin. And he lived with us for a brief period of time during high school. He graduated in 89, should have been 88. I ain't gonna tell you his name. I ain't gonna put all this business out there. But when I remember our graffiti jeans, oh my God, I wanted a pair so bad. I remember his mom bought him some very expensive Gap jeans, and he gave them to his friend Jeff, and they made them into graffiti jeans. And I was so in love, and his mom was so mad because those jeans cost like $100 back
Back
then.
then, that's a lot of money.
Yes. It's still, I'm not buying $100 jeans for my kid today. What you talking about that then? We're going to children's place it until he don't fit no more. But
I think now the kids go to Goodwill and stuff and they buy the vintage. Now, vintage jeans are a big deal. So they go to get the vintage jeans and rip them up and stuff.
maybe they do, but I still want me a pair of graffiti jeans. If there had not
No,
been
that's
COVID,
country. In 2021, that would be country. I wouldn't allow that. That would be a fashion.
oh, don't you dare. That is my dream. You let me live my dream.
Graffiti jeans.
I
Okay.
still want a pair. Sorry, listeners, we're going to get back on track in a second. I got to get this out my spirit. I was going to have a 90s, an 80s, 90s theme party for my 40th. And I was planning to do that this past October, but because of COVID, I couldn't have the party. So whenever it's safe to gather again in groups, I'm going to have my 80s, 90s party with my graffiti jeans.
I don't know. So what I needed, the Metro. You remember the Metro haircut, like salt and pepper?
Mm-hmm.
So I can't get that anymore. I'm not on creamy crack any longer, so I can't do that.
Oh no, I let go of that too. All right, so we can get back on track, listeners. I apologize. Thank you for indulging me. So tell me, did you, as a child, did you know you wanted to be a CPA?
No, I didn't know what that was at all. Like literally, that wasn't portrayed to me. My mother worked in housekeeping at a local hospital, and my dad worked at a company called Philip Morris. Like the people who make Marlboro, Virginia Slim, that's where my dad worked. And so they just worked hard. And that's what I thought I was going to do. And so I wasn't an outstanding student at all because just things that were going on at home. So I was an average student because sometimes let's say I wasn't present. I was off. That's what I'm saying. It was an urban community, so they were this whatever. It wasn't hard to skip school or whatever. Just get off the bus and do what. So I wasn't an outstanding student, but I wasn't a consistent student. That's a better way to put it. I was able to pass because I could excel in math. If I could watch you do it, I could repeat it. And I didn't know that was a gift. I didn't know. So in high school, we had a test. I was in ROTC because all of my family had gone to military. I told you we lived near a military base in Petersburg. And all of my family, my uncles, but they were drafted. My dad, and they had served in the military. So I figured, And my older cousins had them. Some are Marines, some are Air Force, some are Navy. So I'm thinking, oh, if I go to the military, I'll learn how to do something, then I can get a good job. Because where my dad worked, that was a big job. That was a good job. And so I'm like, okay, I could do that. So I took a test in 11th or 12th grade. I want to say 12th grade, called the ASVAB. I don't know if you know the ASVAB. It's the military entrance exam.
Yes.
And my life changed forever because we were in ROTC class. They had come to our high school because we had a pretty large ROTC program, and they administered the ASVAB at the school during school hours. So they were handing them out in the class. I'm like, okay, so where is my test? And Sergeant Major Frost came to me and said his name was Jack Frost. Yes, it was Sergeant Major Jack Frost.
Wow. Okay.
And that was a big deal because we were in a black high school and our ROTC instructors were black. So they told us a whole different perspective of military and really got people ready. But he said, "Oh no, Miss Beck has your test. She reviewed them all, but she kept yours, and you need to go to the office to get it." And I'm like, "I want my test." I was very ghetto. Let's just say, okay, I'm still a little bit. But I'm like, I want my test. I don't even know why she want. And so
I ain't going to no office.
So I went to her office, and she said, "Oh, hi." She said, "I've been waiting for you." And she said, "I looked at your scores for the ASVAB, and I'm like, why are you in my business? I'm trying to get. And she said, "I think you need to take another test." And I'm like, "I don't want to take no more tests." And she said, "I think you need to take the SAT." And she said, "You can't get a waiver because your parents make too much money." And because both my parents work, my dad. I said, okay. I said, but I don't want to take it. She said, I don't want to take the SAT. I'm not going to college. And she said, I think that you do very well in math, and maybe you should look at careers that are math oriented. I was like, well, my grades, I don't know if I can go to college. And she said, go. I don't know if you remember, it's these career books that are put out by the Department of Labor. This is young people. This is before internet. There is Department of Labor book, and it lists every occupation in the United States. And it says it's a book, and it tells you. She said, "This is where I want you to go, and read up on occupations that favor math, people who do well in math." And I went to the library. I don't remember if it was that day or another day. I took the city bus downtown to the library, and I pulled out that book, and I read accountant. Well, first of all, back in the conversation, I said, I don't want to be no math teacher. Because I know how I acted in school. I didn't want to teach people. She said, no, there are other careers you can do. That's how limited my thinking was. I didn't know that you could do stuff with math other than do math on the board. And so I went to the library, not that day or not many days after, and I read about accounting. I'm like, oh, so accountants work everywhere. Oh, okay. Oh, you can do this, you can do that. That moment, I became an accountant. I decided I'm going to college. I'm majoring in accounting. I had never met an accountant. I didn't know what accountants did. I didn't know really how much they made. But I asked my father, I said, I want to go to Morgan State and be an accountant. Morgan State is in Baltimore. He said, no, you can go to Virginia State and ride the city bus to school. And I majored in accounting. 4 years later, I had an accounting degree. And that is how it happened. So I don't have a legacy of somebody saying, oh, I wasn't nurtured for that. I wasn't prepared. In some ways, I wasn't prepared for college. I buckled down. I had to really, study for those non-math things like writing or whatever. I really had to get myself together in those areas. But that is how it happened. And that's the importance of educators. That's why I always favor educators. So if an educator had not interrupted me, I would not be where I am today. And I'm not saying that those teachers that caliber of teacher don't exist no more. I'm sure they do, because I saw evidence of that with my girls. But I am where I am because the educator said, "Hey, I think you can do something else." I'm not saying you can't go to the military, but you can do something else.
Right. I love that though. I love that. I had a similar experience. I was always an A student. My parents didn't give me an option, but I was doing.
Are you trying to say I had an option?
No. What I'm saying is,
I'm kidding.
no. After you spend, when I started school, we on the 9-week schedule. Now you had six weeks, and to make an A An A was 94 or higher. I made a 92, and my parents grounded me for the entire 6 weeks for a 92 because they said I should have made an A. And then the next year, they changed the grading scale, and 90 and above was an A. So I'm still a little salty about that, but I'm going to move past
Do
it.
you remember that?
Listen, the things that occupy space in my brain are probably the reasons why I got to look down to tell you what color my shoes are right now. I'm on like overload. It's all kind of garbage in here. But
Interesting.
I remember that. And so I just kind of was going through the motions of school. I did what I needed to do to maintain an A. Nothing more, nothing less. Like teachers would put out the homework calendar. I go home, do all my homework in one night and move on. And when I was in high school, it might have been 10th grade, I had a social studies teacher, and social studies was like the boringest subject to me. I did all my work for the whole year, like real fast. And she noticed that I just was not engaged. I was doing the work, making the grades, but was not engaged. And one day she walked in and the school had just bought her a laptop, which was a new big thing. And only a few teachers had a laptop. And she handed it to me. She said, I just got this. Play around with it. Tell me what you think. And I'm like, okay. I mean, I was just sitting there reading my novel while everyone else was doing the work. I had did work weeks ago, so I wasn't interested. And that changed my whole like trajectory because now somebody is noticing me and that I'm doing just enough to maintain the A. Like there's so much more that I could do. And then when I was in college and I had decided to quit because I had a really rough semester and I was just going through some things. And she was the only person I told. I wrote her a letter. She probably barely got the letter out of the mailbox. This was before email and all of that stuff, children. It was not like it is now.
Have a stamp.
Yes. And I wrote her a letter and told her I was going to quit. And she probably barely got the letter out of the mailbox before she wrote me back. And as soon as I opened the letter in big red writing, it said, if you quit college, I'm going to call you a loser for the rest of your life. You are not quitting. And then she went on to tell me about how she believed in me and the things that I could do. And then if I was having a hard time, always reach out to her. And that is the reason why I did not quit school.
Maybe we're dedicating this episode to educators of young Black girls.
You know, I'm always giving props. I'm still in education myself. So I'm like, you know, it's kind of like being in the battleground. But I love hearing stories of people who can sort of pinpoint something that made that change. You know, sometimes we don't necessarily know what kind of open us up to a new idea or a new perspective.
Right.
And when you can pinpoint that, you know, that's something different. And it all relates to coaching. Because when you talk to people, when people come to you with ideas or they have this and they have that, you know, you have to then be able to sort of pinpoint where the disconnect may be at and then help them get on that right path.
And I think that's why coaching appeals to me, because I figured out later in life that, if I would have, because when I went to Virginia State University, I ended up being a math tutor. I worked for the government. So my college grades were much better than high school grades. But so I figured out, you have a scholarship, but I'm tutoring you. So then I realized that, if I would have made better grades, I would have done X, Y, Z. So I kind of got this cause and effect mentality that was really good at helping people plan things out. It kind of followed me throughout my life and just organizing and doing different things. And then for my girls, when they went to school, we really worked on the whole scholarship thing. So the coaching gives me the opportunity to be the Miss Beck. Like, we have a business idea. We can write this down. We can plan it out. We can figure it out. Okay, you make blue cupcakes. Can we make a blue, red, and yellow? Let's call them up. You know what I mean? So I really feel like it kind of is codependent. Speaking about mental health stuff. So it's very exciting I wish I kind of felt like when I went to college, I wish somebody had told me. I would have been more prepared. So I feel like, let me tell people. So that's probably why I'm so intense when I'm telling people stuff about business, because it's an opportunity for me to pour into other people and save them the steps. You don't have to struggle and do all the things I did, because I can tell you in 1, 2, 3 steps how to get your business started, how to get it organized, because I wanna sow like I was sown into, like somebody sowed in my life. I want to be able to pass that on,
I
and
love that.
I wanted to be the people who don't look like they should succeed.
I
So
love that.
I wanted to be the people because I was like, I don't know nothing about no. I mean, I was so. And when I think about myself at that time, it's kind of embarrassing because I want. And she's like, no, like she could have walked away and be like, okay, do what you want to do. But I'm like, no, you can really do that, and that's how I am with people. You can really run a profitable business. You have a good business idea. We need to. Yeah, it makes me not want to let go, and sometimes I should because people give up on their own dream. I can't push it for them, but that I'm glad you even asked me about it because making that connection really helps me remember why I do what I do.
I love that. I love that. So, what is the name of your coaching program?
So I have an academy online. It's called the Plan to Prosper Small Business Academy. And that was born out of my MBA program a couple of years ago. I went to the College of William and Mary. Am I name dropping a lot? Is that too much?
No, you're good.
I just want y'all to
We
know
love it.
that after she figured out the college thing, she was rolling with. So while I was there, and we had a final, like not thesis, but a project we had to do, and my theme was on the underground economy. So this whole economy of people, primarily Black people, I focused on, who operated businesses that were not. So when they say GDP and they say unemployment numbers, they ain't counting us. So if you're operating under the table, they're not even talking about you. So
Mm.
even when they do like the PPP, they're not talking about you. They're talking about above board businesses. So my thesis was on my theme of my project was on the underground economy. The shadow economy is another term they use for it. And so out of that came the Plan to Prosper Small Business Academy. And so I started to create courses for individuals who you might not have to go to get an MBA to learn about how to run a business. So I whittle down the essentials of business planning or how to organize for your tax in the tax year, that kind of thing. So it's these courses that help the average business owner get moving and moving in the right direction without spending money on an MBA. Some of them like $50,000, and and
Yes,
most,
they are.
and most of those people are not even running businesses. People who have MBAs are usually working for a Fortune 500 company or something. But it's good information. It's good information. And I really want to be able to deliver that to the everyday person.
All right. I love that. Listen, I'm just a person. I like working with people because I like giving back. And I never want to I don't ever want to be with the overserved population. You know, it's something about that. And I guess partly too because, those are the people that need it the most. You know what I'm saying? And small businesses are the heartbeat of America. Like, I just totally believe that we love the Fortune 500 companies and things like that. But when you coach a single mother struggling and you get her to the point where she's no longer struggling, like she is putting money into a college fund for
Buying a
her
home.
kids, buying a home,
Yeah,
she can afford to give her kids a quality of life that she hasn't, experienced herself. Like, what is better than that? Because you know where your blood, sweat, and tears, you see the return on that.
I agree. And I really believe that the freedom of our community, of the African American community, lies in entrepreneurship. Because we fuss about other communities coming into into our neighborhoods and starting our businesses. Don't get mad. You need to occupy that block before they get there. We get mad, but we don't know how to do it. But most of us are working full-time jobs, and we don't really have side hustle. But if we have a side hustle, it's not legit, so it never really grows. So I believe that really, because a lot of our neighborhoods are kind of desolate. They have empty buildings. They have needs that are unmet. And I believe that the way for us to come out of that is that we start building businesses in our own communities. And we cannot do that by operating under the table. So you're going to actually have to pay some taxes. You're going to have to get
Amen.
a business license. You're going to have to be able to come before the city council and say, yes, I want to zone this for X, Y, and Z. And I want to turn that tide for African American business owners. Because it's a lot of, and that was kind of like my early shade about the business coaches. So it's a lot of business coaches that's telling you how to get some money, but they're not telling you how to build longevity, how to build something when you can go. And if they're not doing the right thing in that school board, you can say, look, I've been running a business in this school, in this system for 10 years, and I want X, Y, Z. Their football team need uniforms, I buy them. That's what we're supposed to be doing in our community.
Right.
And we just keep selling ourselves short and not getting it. Some of us do here and there as pockets. But I'm talking about real, where you running a factory in that, because if you go in our hoods, we got the buildings. The buildings are there.
Right. And
And the
that's
workers
true.
are there.
And that's true. And you're not going to get that true growth if you stay under the table. So I'm in Metro Atlanta, and Killer Mike is doing a lot. I love him too. He's doing a lot in the community and things as far as, building, wanting to put these businesses in the small community. And you guys see those things on Instagram and on the reality shows. And you're like, oh, I want that. But you have to be legit. He
You
can't
do.
he can't co-sign a business, that's not legit. All of those things, you got to do more than just apply for the LLC to get the small business loan.
You done said something.
Uh-oh. Listen.
LLC does not make you a profitable business. You have to have an idea and an income generating activity
Amen.
that people actually want to pay for. And if you are begging people on Facebook and DMs, then you do not have a profitable business. You do not. You do not have a real. People will come to you if you slaying some braids. You ain't got to advertise. People
Listen, have you ever seen a Maserati commercial? Because I have not.
No. Yeah. You don't need one. You don't need it.
No, you don't. You don't. And I had this thought earlier, and I'm just gonna say it because Eulica here, she gave me permission to say it.
Right.
Like, stop expecting your family and friends to be the sole support of your business to keep your business afloat. Are they your avatar?
Have you seen people posting that they're like, they won't support your business? It's not your job. That's not.
It's not their job. Are they even part of your avatar? What is your avatar, sweetheart? Who's your target audience?
What problem are you serving that people will exchange money for it? And one of those things, and I think we're about to go over time, but I just want to say one of the things, because we aren't comfortable with who we are and our value and what we know how to do. And so we don't know how to translate that into a business because we aren't comfortable. So all we do is duplicate what we see somebody else doing. So if he got a t-shirt company, I'm gonna create a t-shirt company. If he don't, I'm gonna do. But do you have an eye for color and what's fly and what? It has to be something in you that's unique that you can manifest into a business in a systemized way, and you got to test that thing. Your family buying it because they know you. That don't mean it's good.
Right. And that whole thing. I get it in the beginning. I'm not telling you that your family and friends should not support you. Maybe when you have your first event, they all buy tickets and things like that. Okay. Now, where's your repeat business going to come from?
Exactly. I would even use the example of like if you're cutting grass. Let's say we got lawnmowers. We paid $50 at the yard sale. Both of us got lawnmowers. You don't have to do that just for your family. It's more grass out there than just your people because it's an actual need. It's a repeat. The grass is going to keep growing. So one thing I tell my business coaching class, we have to look at something that is a repeat need that people need on an ongoing basis, not just one time, and not just a nice to have to. Because
right.
The t-shirt is, if my bills are due, I might not buy the t-shirt, but I need to get my grass cut. I need to be a plumber. I need my hair done. You got to do something. So you got to look for things. And if you do the complimentary things, that's fine. But it has to be something that people are looking for, that they are demanding. I did a coaching a session for a a brand that sells inexpensive jewelry online. Is that specific, but not specific enough?
It is. It is good.
So what I was telling him, I said, people on Zoom, tell me how I can take this black t-shirt and change it 50 times with this jewelry. Think out of the box. Meet people where they need. When we did that, they starting to sell. They're not doing one set. People buying 10 because you tapped into a need.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And that is why you got to have a whole marketing plan. Like, hire a coach. Okay, hire a coach that's going to do more than help you get a small business loan. Hire a coach that is going
Are
to
they doing
help.
that?
Listen, you don't even want to know.
Oh, I know.
You know, you got to do more than that. Like, honestly,
Because the funding has to have a purpose, or you'll never be able to turn that over into profit.
right.
Yeah.
Right. You know, all of those things. And so it's important. It's important. And then once you get that business to where you are turning a profit and you're doing good, now what's your plan to give back? Some in some way, shape, or form. Like, I am a firm believer that you should always give more than you take. So, you know, if your business is serving a need, is solving a problem, then you're not worried about selling. You're not worried about selling. You're sharing
For you.
the resolution.
People will come looking for you.
100%, 100%. You know, it's that type of thing. So that's my 2 cents. Eulica co-signed it for me, and you got to believe her because she a CPA, MBA. She got all the A's. Okay.
So I wanted to, can I tell folks about
Yes.
my free mini
Yes.
course? So in the link of the show notes, a link in the show notes, I'm offering a free mini course. It's part of my most popular series. It's the Unbootleg Your Business in 10 Days.
Listen.
Song?
I am so in love with the unbootleg your business. Listen, you need to record a track on the unbootleg your business. It need to be on iTunes.
So maybe, I don't know where to even begin with that. How would I do that?
I don't know. Killer Mike, if you listen, help us out.
So look, so that's a business. So somebody need to be you're trying to be a rapper. You need to be coming up with me a track for this unbootleg your business because I would pay you.
Yes.
But I have it's actually a full course, but I'm offering a free mini course, which is actually on business planning. It's free. It has a worksheet to it. It has me. You get to see my face. You get to see what I look like, my face, and me talking about the importance of business planning, about writing your mission, your vision, because all Fortune 500 companies, we patronize enough of them, we have to start acting like them. If you want to be big, you got to act big. And all Fortune 500 companies have a mission and vision statement, but they also have a business plan that's always in effect and always refreshed annually at least. So my free mini course takes you through that one. It's a 3-page worksheet on planning your business for 2021. So don't go into this year just throwing spaghetti at the wall, but actually write down what you're going to do. The Bible says without a vision, the people perish. So the reason why you're not profiting, one reason is because you don't know what you're going to do in February, March, let alone April, May, June, July. And so a business plan is very, very important.
Yes, it is. The business plan is the roadmap that will put you at the destination of success. I believe that.
Actually, and you were part of my business plan because one of my goals in my business plan is to connect with more audiences. And so you were part of my business plan, Kimberly.
Look at me. Oh.
You were the manifestation.
You guys can't see me. I'm over here blushing. I was part of Eulica's plan.
So when you said, will you? I'm like, yes, it's part of my plan.
I love it. I love it. Listen, I had a year of yes. So I'm hoping to carry that over into 2021, you know, saying yes to opportunities and things and just kind of seeing that fruitfulness. All of you who are listening that are contemplating, thinking about telling your homeboys, telling your homegirls, talking to the hairstylist about starting this business, download this free course, Okay, she said the word free. So you don't have any excuses not to get it. I'm telling you to download it and start using the resources around. And I'm going to say this as well. The free course is great, but understand this, people. You have to invest in your business, just like you have to invest in your health, because health is wealth. You got to invest in your business. So go ahead and start having that mindset in 2021.
Wonderful. Wonderful.
Yes. Well, Yalika, I could talk to you all day. I could talk to you all day. I absolutely always enjoy the
I'll come back
conversation.
anytime that you need me to come.
Y'all heard that, right? We're
And
going to
I
hold
can
you
be,
to
and I have different levels, so I can be ratchet and tell you about my life.
it.
I can be educated and tell you about accounting and debits and credits. Whatever you choose, I'm here for you.
I love that. I love that, listeners. We definitely will have to get Yalika back. I know you agree with me. So, any closing remarks, Yalika?
No, I would just and this I don't know, this is not the first episode of 2021, but it's January. I would just speak prosperity to every business owner that's listening. Speak life, that your ideas will be manifested, that goodness and mercy is following you all the days of your life, and that your pockets are filled because your mind is giving you the ideas to implement to make the money that you need to take care of your family and for the generations to come. And just all.
I love that. I love that. And
Speak
so it
life.
is. And so it is, people. So thank you again, Yulika. It's been a pleasure. To the
Thank
beautiful listeners of Real Talk the Podcast, I just want to say thank you so much for spending this time with me. I always enjoy it. You guys enrich my heart. I hope that your 2021 has started off just in a beautiful, positive, white light manner. I hope it continues that way. Be sure to tune in next Thursday for a brand new episode of Real Talk the Podcast. And in the meantime, in between time, remember to do what? Stay real. One love.